there, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm working on the bass parts here. I don't think I'm going to show you myself tracking it like I usually do, which I like to do, because I've already tracked most of it and I'm listening now for problems. I tracked it off camera and I'm listening now for problems and doing, some of my computer work where I clean it up and just adjust volume levels. Sometimes you'll hit something not as loud. Like on this one riff I go. The second part, no matter what I do, is always quieter. So I just go in and, because I guess this one has a lower note in it. Just bo, 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 bo. That's just quieter. So I just boost each one of those. So little jobs like that end up eating up all the time. It's not much fun to have the camera on, and I don't think an audience would want to watch it. But I do like to document those takes. Drowning in it. Trying to do two at once too was kind of a challenge. Okay, so if you want to record bass, you can always mic, get like a killer Ampeg, SVT, or some kind of amazing, another kind of amp that you love. And you mic it with a bass type of microphone. I've got one over there. There's always AKG, D112, different microphones. I like using ribbon mics with bass, but boy is it a pain. It's a pain to control these low frequencies. So it's been a revelation for me to plug in directly to the Zoom, which is what I do. So I'm going to, oops, did I knock that to the side? I'm going to plug this in directly into input 1. And I'm going to have my high Z on because this is a low input, low output connection, a passive pickup. Keep making noise. But I'm going to plug in directly, and I'm going to have my gain, or my channel strip at 100 unity gain, and the gain up top is about at 11, almost 11 o'clock. And then on effects, this is important. I picked number 5, tube pre. There's many choices, but that's the one that just sounds the most like an amplifier and natural. And the main reason I like doing this direct thing is because you don't have to fight, the surging signal on a microphone. So you hit a note like this, and all of a sudden the mic goes, woo, and you got to deal with compression. Hold on, the air conditioner's coming on. Let me just come right back. I'll be right back. I'm going to just stop for a second. It's too noisy. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. The air conditioner's off, thankfully. Okay, so now, what I did on this one is it has the vibrato part, the boom, 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 boom. Let me just play it back so you can hear it. Not the bass, but let me play the guitars. So it's got that thing going. So it got busy trying to keep up with that guitar part. Got busy on bass and slow, because bass is slower than guitar. So you have to be careful, or at least I do with my playing level. Hold on, let me bring this around. And what I ended up doing was just like this whole note thing. So it's like doom doom. So that last note I hold out as maybe only be like a half note in real time. So those are quarter notes. Now just hold on that. It's a whole note. And then okay, so the whole time I'm trying to give the feel of like I'm playing with my fingers, like a loose kind of. Just can't play with my fingers very well. The only thing I have to keep in mind is downbeats, or just downstrokes on the solo part, so that doesn't fight with the guitar. And that ended up being, most of the time I'm going. picking pattern. Now it's just all down strokes except for the transitions where I go up down. So it's like. And then when I come back, I go immediately back to the original strumming pattern or picking pattern. Okay, so let's just listen to the part. Let me take the guitars out, just so it'll be all bass and guitar. And drums. Let me just isolate the bass so you can hear the bass on its own. Oops. It's a good tone. Sounds heavy and thick. A lot of string noise in the right way. Octaves. This part is the back to octaves. Downbeats. All downbeats, except for the transitions. Put the drums in now. So it's a good tone, good heavy, thick tone. Okay, and then there's the transition piece part. Back to the whole notes. And then the downbeats after this, all downbeats except for the transitions on the changes. Okay, so that one is covered. I think we understand what's going on with that one. All right, so now I'm going to go to Exciter, or the Exciter. It's just called Excite on here. Okay, so this one, on this one, we've got the riff, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I tried to play different things. I tried to do whole notes, like just rest, like da-da-da-da-da-da. I tried to do that, but it sounded really thin. So all you had was guitar and drums, and when it wasn't slamming when it was coming down. So I'm only doing half the riff because it sounds really bad to try to play the whole riff. It just starts to sound like a mess. But it's like dun, 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 dun. Wait, wait, sorry. Dun, 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 dun. So it's like dun, 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 dun. Okay, so that's the part. Sorry, took me a minute to figure that out. All right, so let's just see what. Let me just play it with just the bass. Same thing, 2 pre. Hold on a second. That didn't sound good. I need to fix that. It's okay. It's got to be the same volume. Okay, so that part was that's it. Sorry. So it goes. this right now. So that's the idea. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I feel like that's pretty slamming, and like the bass ended up making it slam harder instead of being a distraction or being weak. Because the original way I did it, it just was weak. There was no like slam, and then the bass came in like isolated, and it stood out from the rest. Like when there wasn't bass there, it sounded really. It was like all of a sudden the bass was like boom, and it was just gone. So I feel like that part made it work better. So just a quick review. To record bass direct, plug in directly, turn everything up, or roll back if you want to roll back, but make sure you have plenty of signal coming from the guitar. Plug into input 1. High Z is going to be on. Unity gain usually at 100 as far as the channel strip goes, and then just start turning that gain up and make sure you don't distort. You got to be extra careful not to distort with bass. Really watch it. Play the hardest note you're going to play in the track and see if that little peak light pops up. If you see that peak light popping up while you're playing along, or at any point, you got to roll back because it's not even worth it. You're going to track, and then you're going to later hear the little digital distortion, which is unacceptable. It's just like a static, horrible. All right, so, and then I usually use number 5, 2 pre, and I don't edit usually, but you can. You could go in and play around and get a little more tone out of it. Actually, I do boost that little, or I roll back the tone. I can't remember which one. There's lots of things you can do in there when you go in and edit on any of this stuff. You know, like edit everything. Most everything in the Zoom can be accessed through the edit function, and you can play around with the levels. You know, crossovers, just different things. All right, so And I really find that recording bass direct is easier. You may not get some of the stuff that you get, you know, when you record with a mic. It might not bloom so nicely, and if you have a wonderful amp and a good mic, you know, there's nothing going to beat that. But here in Zoomland, this works great, and it's what I've been doing for a while, and I highly recommend it if you've had trouble recording bass. Because back when I was recording to tape, bass was a big challenge, and I wasn't great with using a compressor, and then you got to get a really good compressor, and you don't know which ones. It's just, so it's all in here, you know. It makes it so much easier. All right, so if there's anything I can do to help anyone, I've got my guitars together, I've got my bass together. Next thing I got to do is start working on the vocals, which gives me a little bit of what do you call it? Trepidation and fear. Just because it's the hardest part, and I usually start dragging my feet even worse than usual. But I'm excited because I only have 2 songs left to get to the 9-song album that I want to make. I decided I wanted 9 songs. It's just, I don't know why, the 9 number. But I've thrown away like 5 songs, so I could have had a lot more, but I just wanted to only have the right ones that made sense with this record. And then after I get this thing done, I really want to get back out. I know it's tough out in the live world, and it's gotten really, you know, difficult for small acts to make it work financially. But I got to do something, even if it's just local. I got to play. You know, it's like part of being a musician is playing in front of people, not just sitting at home. All right, so next time, let me know if I can help you. All right.